Hey, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of the Tried and Tested Podcast. If you are not familiar with me, my name is Tracy. I'm your host, and this is a dating and relationship podcast, which I talk about things that have been tried, things that have been tested, and we just try to navigate the dating world all together. So today's episode, I am going to briefly be talking about breaking up and what that consists of. I was having a conversation, or actually, no, this might have just been me just daydreaming, about just trying to understand some things. And I think I saw a video on Instagram where they had mentioned breaking up, and I just kind of wanted to talk about why people are so fearful of breaking up, right? Um, and communicating that they want to break up. And I remember hearing once that men don't really break up with women. They just kind of make things so difficult, or they get so distant that the woman suggests the breakup, and then that's kind of how the breakup occurs, which I think is absolutely absurd. That is so crazy. If you know as a man that you really don't want to be with the female, you guys aren't aligned, she's pressuring you too much, she's too emotional, she's too aggressive, or you guys just don't, maybe you're not equally yoked. Um, I don't know why it's so hard for a man to just say hey, I don't see us on the same page. And because of that, I'm gonna kind of go my separate ways from you. Of course, there are some women who they are emotional. They'll make a scene. They won't, ooh, sorry, they won't understand what you're saying. But I think that as mature adults, a man should be able to effectively say that, hey, I don't like you, or I don't want you, or I like you, but not enough to marry you, or whatever it may be. I think that he should be able to communicate that with the person that he's with. And if he can't, that's another red flag about why you guys probably should not be together. But yeah, and vice versa too. I feel like women should be able to be clear about a man who's not giving them what it is that they're looking for in life, what it is that they desire to have, what kind of lifestyle they desire to live, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, I feel like breaking up seems to be so complicated. And also we have the breakups that are for people who were never in a relationship, right? I think that term is called situationships. And I'm sure there's 100 other terms people call or say, between two people who are spending time together, who are communicating frequently, regularly, who are, perhaps going out on dates, meeting family members and all of that good stuff. And they're not officially in a relationship. So, yeah, I just wanted to know if or why, I guess, people find it so hard to break up. Is it staying true to yourself? What exactly could the issue be where, instead of getting distant from people, instead of being, rude, instead of making the person feel bad, being unkind or just ghosting them, why is communication so hard, especially for someone that you spent any time with? These are typically not strangers. These are people where, even if you like them for the first 2 months and now 6 months have passed and you can't stand them, why is it hard to even, send a text message or an audio message and just kind of keep it real? What is so hard about letting someone down? Obviously, it's not easy to be the bad guy, whether you're a female or a male. It's not easy to be the bad guy, but I think that people should really, I don't know. People should really think about the effect, right? Because I think that when you ghost somebody, for instance, they're left with so many questions. They're left with heartache. They're left with trust issues. Like, I think that there's things that we can do as humans that can make the person worse off. And it's not even their fault, it's our fault, right? Because you may just block somebody and that's your way of breaking up. And of course, there are times where you've reiterated over and over, I'm not interested in you. I don't see this going anywhere. And the other person doesn't want to hear it. So in those cases, I feel like when you do block them, they can start to kind of rethink about the last words you told them or the last conversations you guys had and get an idea that, okay, this person was not interested in being with them long term. But yeah, I think one of the most healthiest and most helpful things that you can do is have a conversation. And I know that sometimes people, like I said, they get emotional, they start crying. And this is males and females. I've seen men cry when someone is letting them down, and it's kind of like, whatever. But so it's kind of like, yeah, like, at least if you give somebody your honest opinion, the other person doesn't have to agree. And it doesn't have to be an argument, but it's just that, listen, I don't want to be with you. And these are the reasons why. You know what I mean? And sometimes it can be something as simple as, God said I shouldn't be with you. Or God said you're not the one. But I also believe in those cases, they should have spoken with God before they got with you. Like, that's a waste of time. But yeah, whatever behaviors, whatever bad traits, whatever it is, because it can help the person going forward, right? Even if the two of you didn't work out, by you being honest and being clear and precise about what happened and what, the situation was, that kind of turned you off and put you off. Some people can appreciate that and move on from it. Some people can take it as an attack, of course, and they can kind of feel some type of way about it. And then some people can take it as okay, well, he means do better and try harder. You know what I mean? So that's also another issue too. So I get it. As I'm literally speaking, I can understand why it may be easier for, let's say, if you are the man and you are the one that starts to get distant, starts to get ghost, starts to get busy. It may be hard for you to kind of approach a female straight up and give her, these particular reasons, especially if they're vain reasons, because sometimes it can be like, hey, you lost too much weight, or hey, you gained too much weight, or hey, I hate the way you do your makeup, or your wig smells like mildew. And these are reasons people break up. Like I said, if you're just dating, there's no binding contract. It's not marriage. It's not, so I think it may be hard for people to hear. And then insults can start being spewed and, all sorts of things. So I definitely understand. But I just think that I believe that breaking up doesn't have to be so difficult. It doesn't have to be so hard. And I'm one that I would prefer honesty. Even though, like I said, honesty hurts, right? It definitely hurts, but I prefer honesty, just so you know. Because I think what happens is that if you don't know, even like I said, if it hurts, it's like ripping off a Band-Aid quickly, right? But if you have no idea, I think for women, you start to kind of, ponder in your head, like, what happened? What could I do differently? Maybe he's just going through something, and maybe I can change his mind. Maybe we can work this out. Oh, I ran into him today and he smiled. Maybe he wants me back. You know what I mean? So I think that, and I'm not sure, I'm not a man, so I'm not sure if that is what men desire to happen. But if it's not the case, I think that, if you're grown enough to enter into any type of dating, courtship, relationship, friendship, and I put that in quotations because you're doing a lot more than friendship, when you start to spend more time with the person. But yeah, I just wonder why the go-to is just to ghost you, to play you, to disappear, to act like they don't know you, to kind of just move on without kind of cutting anything off. You know what I mean? That's something I feel like it's important in this day and age. And I think it's important for people to be able to grow from their mistakes and grow from the things of the past that have occurred. So, yep. But let me know in the comments, or you can DM me, why do you think that breaking up is so difficult for people to be honest about? and stay true to themselves once you've decided that you don't want to be with somebody. Yeah. And so thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Tried and Tested podcast. You can definitely send me an email. If you have any relationship questions, you can let me know. And you can also follow me on Instagram at the official Tracy Sarpong. Until next time, thank you guys. Bye-bye.